Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. This is the SizeWise Health Coaching session on this Monday evening. And I'm really glad you guys jumped on and hope you had a wonderful weekend, as I mentioned before. It was a beautiful day today, actually. So I hope you were able to get outside too and get some sun on your body. That helps convert vitamin D, as we know, but also make sure you have your sunscreen too. We know that's important as well. But yeah, so as I start off, I just want to see if anyone has any new and good things to report today. And if you haven't been on lately or recently, then make sure that you unmute your phone or your computer. That's down on the bottom left-hand side. And if you are able to do video, if you want, there's that video icon on the bottom left as well. But are there any new and good things to report? Weight loss, it could be, actually, Jaquan, I think I saw you in a picture. Thumbs up, you've lost some weight. Sorry to call you, I'm calling you out. Maybe she might not be able to hear us, but let's see. We've had a lot of successes, and sometimes they don't go reported, but I do want to say for those of you that have lost weight, congratulations. For those of you that just feel better, that's at the same level, right? We want to feel good, as well as the goal, right? This is SizeWise weight management. We want to lose the weight as well. And so we congratulate you on that. Now, I want to let you guys know the first order of business is that we need you guys to come back in and schedule your bod pod follow-up. Okay, so all of you guys got in the bod pod in, I think it was whenever we started into February. And now it's time to do your 3-month, your 3-month follow-up. Okay, so let's see. Let me check okay, got it. We got Ivy on the phone. Thank you for letting us know. I just wanted to check on that. Okay, so bod pod, so how do you schedule? So you're gonna go ahead, I'll send the link in the email. I always do a follow-up email with the resources or other links that we've talked about today. But there'll be a link, you go to that link, you select bod pod, and you just schedule it for the available times that you see. Okay, and that is going to be, usually we have it, hold on, let me try to minimize this. I'm not sure. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. All right. Usually our typical times are Tuesdays from, I think it's 3 to 6, and Wednesday from 9 to 12. So every week we have those available time slots. And I think if we have the 3 to 6 as an example, we schedule on the half hour. Okay, so it's very quick for your bod pod test, and when you come in, just make sure you come in prepared, just as you did before. So that's minimal clothing, tight fitting, swimsuit, 1-piece or 2-piece, or a sports bra and thigh length spandex shorts. And then let's see, no food, no drink, no exercise, 2 hours prior to testing. And I'll provide the cap for you. And the test only takes like 10 minutes, as you remember. You're only in the bod pod for 40 seconds, just as a recap and reminder. But schedule your bod pod, and we'll see how things are going. We'll see where we need to adjust or tweak if need be, or we may need to just continue doing what we're doing because you're getting such great results. All right. Does anybody have any questions before I get on the topic? Get started on the topic. No? Okay. And be thinking about if you have any topics that you want me to go over that I have not gone over. Today, I have decided that I want to talk about food additives, controversial ingredients, and I'm going to show you a really cool little interactive website where you can just kind of see what's going on with food additives and the food industry and how prevalent it is. So if there's no other questions, just want to start off by saying when I do the grocery store tours, which I'm still trying to figure out if I'll be able to do one for you guys at one of our stores here virtually. if not virtually, I'll talk to Dr. Daniels and see if we can do an in-person tour, maybe one of the months. And a lot of people gain a lot of knowledge and information from that. But food additives, they're prevalent in a lot of processed foods. That is one reason why we say that if you want to instantly improve your health and start to lose weight as fast as you possibly can, the biggest thing you can do, and this is what I hear all the time, is to cut out processed foods and fast foods. And it can be hard. It's hard because on one level, you know, we're wanting to manage our blood sugar levels. We're wanting to eat in the low carb style that Dr. Daniels has said all the research is pointing to in terms of being the best way to burn body fat, the best way to improve your blood sugar levels. But at the same time, on the other hand, I think what some of us don't, at least I didn't know when I was learning, we weren't paying as much attention to the quality of the food. So this, you've heard me say it over and over again. I just wanted to dive deeper into some of these things and just kind of make you think like, well, what is the point of adding some of these additives? A lot of times it's texture, it's added flavor. As we know, they're designed to keep the shelf life for a longer period of time of the food item in the grocery stores or in the restaurant. And the first thing that I want you to think about is, well, as far as the concept of keeping the item on the shelf longer, if it stays on the shelf if it can stay on the shelf for a longer period of time, then when you eat it, guess what it's doing on, let's just imagine you're the shelf, okay? It's staying on the shelf or in your body potentially for longer periods of time. But instead, you know, in the industry, we're always asked to really focus on low carb and, you know, just, of course, eating whole foods is important too. But what I've found over the years is these preservatives and controversial ingredients are seeping into a lot of healthy food items. And the marketing is just so good that they trick us. So I'm going to show you, first off, the top 10 food additives to avoid. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a share screen so we can see this, and I'll read it out as well, so that we can, so that everybody can hear, even if you're on your phone, even if you called in. Okay, so, all right, and can you give me a thumbs up if you can see it? I can see you, Pamela. Yeah, if you can see the top 10 food items. It says top 10 food additives to avoid. Yes? Can you guys see it? Can you guys hear me and see it? Give me a thumbs up. Anyone? Nope, no one can see it. Okay. Let me try it again.
Yes, I can see it.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay. Thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure. I'm going to share it again, and we'll go here. Thank you very much. Okay. All right. So top 10 food additives to avoid. So we see sodium sulfite in the top left. I'm starting from the top left. So this handout, did I give this to you guys already? I don't think I did. No. I have a couple of different ways that you can view it, but it's all the same thing. Interesting thing is, over in Europe, almost all of these are banned in their food system, but not over here in the United States. And the same goes for a lot of personal care and skincare products. Over in Europe, they ban like 1,500 chemicals and ingredients that are toxic to the human body. But in the United States, personal care, skincare, so that's like lotions, creams, perfumes, deodorants, and makeup, we ban 30 ingredients. And so we're on a mission trying to change that, and a number of different ways we're able to try to make an impact. So from in the food industry, sodium sulfite, I'll just go through these general places that they're used in wine and dried fruit. And anytime you see that SULPH, sulf, you can think of sulfur, like here's that sulfur dioxide. You can think of gas, right? The sulfur I think it's probably the root for gas. Sulfur springs, the gaseous springs. So What I do know is a lot of times when sodium sulfite and then also sulfur dioxide, which is used, here we see it's used in soft drinks, dried fruit, juices, wine, vinegar, a lot of people experience gas and bloating. Not everyone, but if you're eating what you might think is the healthy trail mix and you're not looking at the ingredients, and you very well may see sulfur dioxide. So, and then sodium sulfite. Okay, so again, what it does is it's used to preserve the food item so it can stay on the shelf a lot longer. Now then underneath the food or the food additive, it tells you why you should avoid it. So over here on sodium sulfite, according to the FDA, approximately 1 in 100 people are sensitive to sulfites in food. Individuals who are sulfite sensitive may experience asthma, headaches, breathing problems, and rashes. So if you have, there's a lot of people that they have these unexplained, they think it's an unexplained rash or unexplained headaches. This is why I encourage you always to pay attention to your symptoms, and at least at the very first thing you do, just take a look at what you've eaten in the past probably 24 hours. That's why I always have my clients do a food log where I'll review it. And all I want to know is what time they eat, what they eat, and how they feel. You can learn a lot about how foods impact you, moving forward, no matter what stage in life you're in. Certain foods might be best for you in your 20s and 30s. Other foods may be better for you in your 40s and 50s. And and that's how it is. It's supposed to change. But if you develop this one skill set of just paying attention to how you feel after you eat certain foods, I'm telling you, you can get ahead of the game and figure out what you need to eliminate and what you can tolerate and bring in without having to spend all kinds of money or get put on, tons of medications just to stop the one symptom. So it's not perfect, but the body is very, very smart, and it's not giving you, like I know a lot of people say, you don't have a headache. We don't usually get headaches because we have a lack of aspirin. That's not the case. The aspirin is just a cover up for the headache, but the headache is because of something else that we've done or not given to our bodies. Okay, so back over to the sulfur dioxide. Here it is again. Sulfur additives are toxic. Adverse reactions include bronchial problems, asthma, hypotension, flushing, tingling sensations, or anaphylactic shock. It destroys vitamin B1 and vitamin E in the body. And it's not recommended for consumption by children. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. Trans fat, you guys have heard of this one. It's typically found in margarines, chips, a lot of fast foods, baked goods, and I would say probably maybe 10 years ago, they started putting the amount of trans fats on labels so the consumers know, how much they can have and or where they're getting it from. Reasons to avoid: it increases LDL cholesterol levels while decreasing the good fats. And so, sorry, let me bring this up a little bit. Okay, increases the risk of heart attacks, heart disease, and strokes. So how do we know what has a trans fat? You do have to look at the labels also on this one as well. All of these, you've got to look at the labels in the ingredients section. Moving on to BHA and BHT. Okay, so used as a preservative in potato chips, gum, cereal, big time, it's in cereal, frozen sausages. So what does it do? It is a common preservative to keep food from changing color or becoming rancid. Again, keeping the shelf life stable for a longer period of time. Sodium nitrate, nitrites and nitrates. This is big. And you see in the marketing, a lot of food companies are changing their recipe and I guess their packaging. Nitrates and nitrites are used in almost all cured meat. So it's used to cure meat. Hot dogs, bacon, ham, luncheon meat. Next time you go to the grocery store, you'll just read the labels and you'll see some of them, probably like 30 to 40, probably about 30% of the products of any kind of lunch meat or anything is going to now say nitrite and nitrate free. And then the rest of it is just not going to say it. And you'll see nitrites and nitrates in the ingredients. Reasons to avoid: it turns meats a bright red. It can be highly carcinogenic. And let's see, they wreak havoc with a number of internal organs, like the liver and the pancreas in particular. So then I'll get the question, what about boar's head lunch meat? It's not going to be any better. A lot of times you can look this stuff up. Boar's head is going to be the fresh cut meat that you get over at the deli. Like you would think it might be a little bit better, not necessarily. So Applegate is a company that you can find at most grocery stores. And then, like I said, the other companies are starting to do better in terms of their lunch meat and bacons and stuff to not have nitrites and nitrates. Potassium bromate used in bread. Okay, and we're going to avoid that. It can be a known cancer. That's in animals. We don't have it research in humans yet, but it can also create problems for humans. Again, your body's going to tell you. You just have to listen. I'm going to have to rotate this to look at the other side. Okay, you guys already know these couple ones up here. Top left, aspartame. Used in so-called diet or sugar-free products like Diet Coke, Coke Zero, Jell-O, desserts, sugar-free gum, drink mixes, tabletop sweeteners, even the stuff that's like says diet. We don't be fooled by that. Cough syrups, can you believe that? Anything that tastes sweet that doesn't have sugar in it, doesn't have any grams of sugar, is going to have aspartame. And then also sucralose is another one. It's not on this list, but sucralose. So aspartame, I'm reading the reason to avoid it, is not your friend. It's a neurotoxin and a carcinogen known to erode intelligence and affect short-term memory. The components of these toxic sweeteners in large amounts may lead to a wide variety of ailments like brain tumors and diseases like lymphoma, diabetes. And it's interesting just because sometimes when you're trying to take sugar out of your diet, we are told to go ahead and go towards the sugar-free alternatives. And I just don't think that that's the best route to go. And I feel like we can find sweetness in naturally sweet whole foods. And then as your taste buds start to change, as you're including a variety of colorful fruits and vegetables and lean cuts of grass-fed meats and hormone-free meats, like you will enjoy sweeter foods that are naturally sweet. Aspartame is a big one, especially with kids and ADHD. Y'all know about this one, high fructose corn syrup. We don't have to really go over it other than to say, look at even the smallest thing. I was just talking to some people the other day about sauces. I was doing a cooking demo and they were saying, hey, what is it called? The Polynesian sauce at a very popular fast food restaurant here. Starts with chick. The sauce, and a lot of times those little packets of ketchup, it has high fructose corn syrup in it. So it might seem like a small amount, but this one is in just a lot of processed foods, candies, canned vegetables, and cereals. So you just have to take a look. What does it do? Because it's like, what does it come from? It comes from corn. That's why the word corn is it. It's a processed form of corn that is very, very cheap, that is very, very sweet, like 100 times sweeter than naturally occurring sugars, which is why it messes up our taste buds. And then like healthy, whole, natural foods they don't taste good anymore because we start to become controlled by how this it's not an artificial sweetener, but it's a very refined sweetener affects our bodies. But down towards the middle of this paragraph, high fructose corn syrup packs on the pounds faster than any other ingredient. Faster than any other ingredient, high fructose corn syrup. So if you're not paying attention, it's very hard to identify it. So this is why I feel like it's super important, especially we're talking about health and wellness, but also this one in particular when it comes to weight loss. So if we're out there working out so much and, we say we're eating healthy or we're only counting calories, take a look at the food additives, especially high fructose corn syrup. It also increases your LDL and contributes to the, like we said, development of obesity and diabetes, right? Next, monosodium glutamate, only two more. MSG. So MSG is used, mostly it's found in Chinese food, but a lot of potato chips, snacks, chips, cookies, seasonings, most Campbell's soups, Interesting, huh? Frozen dinners and lunch meats. So lunch meats a lot of times can be this double whammy if you're not paying attention, where it might have nitrites and nitrates, which we went over at first, and then it might also have monosodium glutamate. And also MSG is the acronym for it. Reasons to avoid: it's a flavor enhancer, but it also affects the neurological pathways. It disengages the I'm full function, right? So sometimes when we go to like some Chinese food restaurants, we might be eating a large portion of food and we're like, man, I'm still hungry. So this one, for many in weight, it results in weight gain because you end up eating more calories because it triggers, or it doesn't trigger, the I'm full feeling. Okay, it's an excitotoxin, and regular consumption may result in depression, disorientation, eye damage, fatigue, headaches, and obesity again. Now, the thing about monosodium glutamate is that one restaurant I was talking about before, I may have mentioned this, but if you look, their chicken, not the grilled chicken, but the fried chicken, has monosodium glutamate in it. Okay. Also, the what is it called? Oh gosh, it's like a fish fry. I don't know. I think it's called Zatarans or something. And I hate to call out names, but I'm trying to make sure you guys are informed. A lot of fried fish. We start barbecuing out and grilling and stuff over the summer, cookouts and everything. But when you look at that batter, I think I saw some in Academy Sports over there where they were advertising, obviously, like the grills, like, to purchase a grill and all that. But they also had this food item there, which was the batter to fry your fish in, monosodium glutamate. Okay, so it's in places you may not even think, but I just want you guys to pay attention. And the other thing I want to say about MSG is there's a lot of names or words that can be used on ingredient labels that are derivatives of MSG. Now, I don't expect you to learn all of them. I don't even know all of them. I do have a handout, though, that shows what all those names are, because something like hydrolyzed protein, as an example, that's a derivative of MSG, but we may not actually see MSG on the label. It's totally unfortunate. It's very frustrating. But what I can say is that recommendation that you hear all the time in order to capture your wellness and get the fastest weight loss, honestly, as we've looked at all these too, try to reduce or eliminate processed and fast foods as best as you can. That means you need to start, having, you don't have to be a chef, but start preparing some of your whole food items a little bit more. Just kind of get into the swing of things, like riding a bike. Do as much as you possibly can to eat whole, unprocessed foods. And if that's the one thing you do, you will lose weight. You will be able to keep it off without having to count calories. Last is food dyes. Blue number 1, 2, red 3, number 40. They're used in, this stuff is still used in so much stuff. Our cereals, candies, ice cream, American cheese, macaroni and cheese, and also, I gotta call this one out too. Your one a day vitamins. Look at the ingredients on those too. You gotta look at a lot of kids' toothpaste. So it's in a maraschino cherries. I have those sometimes when I have a drink. Before I knew, I would eat those cherries. But yeah, if you don't look, it's gonna have these dyes in it. Why do we need to avoid it? Again, they're artificial colorings and they contribute to behavioral problems like ADD, ADHD down here in children, and it leads to a significant reduction in IQ. Animal studies claim that they are linked to cancer as well. So I do have, I would say, a handful of clients that I've worked with over the years that are hypersensitive to a lot of these things. And I actually wish more people had a jolting reaction, right after we eat some of these things. It's just not the case. So some people are very hypersensitive and they cannot tolerate, they just can't have anything that has the food dyes in it, or they break out immediately. Same thing with MSG. So for us, what's happening is when we get them in our foods, it's kind of like a slow, I'm not gonna say a slow death, but it's just like a slow inflammatory response where over the years, as we keep putting them in our body, then things start to break down and our body becomes less efficient. So I just want you to pay attention to that. So next, I'm going to go ahead and stop that share and then go ahead and go to another share. Thank you guys all for being on. Okay, so we're going to share another screen. This is kind of cool. So I'll send this link, and I just wanted, it's just an interactive tool. So what we have here on the left-hand side, where I have my mouse, we have a particular food additive, like natural and artificial flavors, MSG we talked about high fructose corn syrup, and what it does, it points to, on the right-hand side, where you can find all of these, like what aisle in the grocery store, or what types of foods would have high fructose corn syrup. So high fructose corn syrup, if you follow it, is found in baked goods, baked desserts, cereals and breakfast cereals, condiments, dairy products, and so on and so forth. Red number 40, it says, is one of the most widely used food dyes found in items like soda. So we already went over this, but and then if you just want to go on the right-hand side and say, what about deli products? So deli products contain a lot of, basically it just goes on over natural flavors, sometimes MSG, sometimes high fructose corn syrup. So anyway, I just thought this was cool. Citric acid is another common food additive. I would say this one is not as a big deal. I wouldn't worry about this one too much. As you see, it wasn't on our top 10 list that I just went over, but as we see here, it'll tell you what the ingredient is and why they use it. So this comes from the Wall Street Journal, and it's just a little interactive wheel there. Okay, and the last share that I wanted to go over is the last little clip. I'm gonna have to. Okay, I'll be sending this to you as well. I'm just kind of hammering in the message, and I'll read the top little paragraph and then wrap up from there. So just saying, quick and portable foods are now the norm in modern society. Whether it's a toaster pastry, a tube of yogurt, a can of cola, or individually wrapped slice of cheese, chances are that product is heavily processed and contains various additives and chemicals to preserve its shelf life. Did you know that these convenient foods, which commonly come with unpronounceable ingredients, may come at a dangerous price? Various food additives and chemicals have shown to have side effects which range from nausea, headaches, to more serious conditions such as cancer, Alzheimer's, and multiple sclerosis. Be sure to read ingredient labels and consume more whole foods. Again, whole foods, you can think of like an apple. If you look at an apple or a bag of apples, it should not have ingredients listed. It just says apple. That's the definition of a whole food. French fries are not whole foods, although it could be if you make your own and you just cut up the potato and just use oil, salt, and pepper, whatever it might be, and it's a better option than like French fries that have all kinds of ingredients in it and cooked in different types of oils or batters, anything like that. So again, controversial, artificial sweeteners, refined sugar, we went over these, MSG, artificial colors. I think it's kind of similar to the other list, but I just wanted to give it to you in another way and make sure that you're informed. So your goal, stop that, or my recommendation to you is just start, maybe, you know what, I would start off by looking in your pantry and your refrigerator to see some of the ingredients, just some of the common things you have laying around. And if you want, you can report back to me and let me know what you found, because there's always a way to get a substitution for it. We may need to sacrifice a little bit of taste, like we're used to a certain thing, but take a look at your, like if you're doing something like a 1-a-day multivitamin, just kind of see. And I'm not going to say throw it away, but I will say be aware, and let's make some different choices or find substitutions as we move forward. Okay, that's all I have. What time is it? I think, 7 o'clock. Any questions on what I've gone over, or like comments or observations? No? Pamela, are you typing? Oh, I thought you might be trying to get out. Oh, okay, we got great info. Okay, thank you, Pamela. So great information. And I'm here, like I said, I'm here for you guys to answer any other questions. You're welcome. And even if there's any specific questions on the app or on the program. No, you guys are good, okay. All right, so actually you have 2 action items. Number 1, once you get my recap email, you need to schedule your Bod Pod follow-up with us. And number 2, look in your pantry, refrigerator, freezer. Just look at the ingredients and start to see if you see any of those ingredients that you're gonna get in the email that's on the handouts that I've just went over, okay? All right. Well, thank you guys again. Have a wonderful week, and I will be coming up with some other great sessions in the next couple weeks, and I will see you in a few. All right. Schedule your Bod Pod. All right. Bye.